16 of the I Formation. I'm Jeff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
And this is our Christmas edition this week, carrying right over to Christmas week. We're not going to dwell on the past this week, though, John. I think we're going to, you said you wanted to take a different tack this week. We're going to look strictly into the future. Playoff implications in both the AFC and the NFC this week. John, I understand you did a bit of homework on each one of these matchups and how they sort of...
Yeah, we're going to jump right into predicting the next week's games. But before each game, I will give the playoff scenario for any team that is still in the mix. And we'll jump right in. We'll start with Atlanta at Detroit. And the scenario there is that Atlanta, of course, has clinched the NFC South. And they will clinch first overall seed in the conference with one more win. Detroit is out, of course. What do you think?
Down but not out. I'm frightened to death of this pick, got to tell you. Mm-hmm. Detroit at home, one of the purest passers this year in Matt Stafford. I think that they can put points on the board against this Atlanta team at home, but I think it's close, and I think that someone will be running from the back and winning this in the fourth quarter. But I think it's going to be Atlanta.
Yeah. I think that Atlanta will win this one as well, but I also think that Detroit will put up some points, even though Atlanta absolutely destroyed the Giants last week. But I think Detroit at home puts up some points, but I don't think that Detroit has a good enough secondary to keep up with this Atlanta receiving threats that they have. So, like you said, Atlanta in a close one.
Okay.
Next, we're on to Washington at Philly. Philly is out of the playoffs, of course. The Skins, if the Skins win their final two games, they will win the division. They have Dallas next week. That is shaping up so that it could be a battle next week to see who wins the division.
Not so much.
No.
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Who do you like there?
Who do I like there? Washington all the way. Philadelphia, just a beaten, broken team. And we have, I'm still not sure of the word on RG3 this week, or whether it's going to be him or Cousins.
Yeah, there's no official word yet, but they're leaning. I think it's going to be RG3.
And we're going early here. I mean, you're going to take a chance on the franchise quarterback. I think in the future. I mean, if he's not ready, he won't be there. Cousins can get the job done. I'm still liking the way that the defense is handling games, and I think that Philadelphia is not going to give them any trouble. I really think that that defensive core will shut down that game. So many injuries, so many issues. I just don't see this even being close. I think Washington is going to gain momentum here, and quite frankly, I think they're going to win that division anyway. So Washington, I think, in a wipeout, I'm going to say.
Okay, I'll agree. And on we go. Minnesota at Houston. And the scenario here for both teams, the Vikings would probably need to win out in order to make the playoffs because they lose most tiebreaker scenarios that they're in now. The bad news that they have Houston this week and the Packers next week. It's a tough task. Houston clinched the AFC South, of course, last week, and one more win, and they will clinch first overall in the AFC. So it's Minnesota at Houston, and who do you like?
I got to tell you, that Houston defense is going to separate the men from the boys this week. Mr. Dickerson, if you're out there listening, I just want to make my statement this week is that your record is going to stand. Peterson will not break this record this year. All the hype, now he's running into a brick wall. He is not going to break a tackle and run 80 yards this week for a touchdown. And that's what's been keeping his stats up. 294 yards over 2 games. I think they shut Peterson down this week, and I think they beat these guys badly.
Mm-hmm. Well, the test did come in, and Peterson is indeed a robot. So I think they'll hold him somewhat, but he's always going to put up yardage. Mm-hmm. I think Houston wins this one, though. They're at home. Minnesota's not as strong a team as Houston is. Let's just face it. Houston's a better football team.
That's true.
Yep. Down we go, Indianapolis at KC, and the Colts clinch a playoff berth with a win or a Pittsburgh loss. And, of course, KC is long out of it.
Well, what better team to be playing than the Kansas City Chiefs this week? I'm a little bit more confident on picking Kansas City over the last few weeks. But I don't see this even being close, got to be honest with you. The bright spot in that whole Kansas City team, Jamal Charles, and has put up some good numbers on occasion, but you know what? This team has come to play. The whole Chuck Pagano force, Andrew Luck playing, flirting with an MVP season or a Rookie of the Year season at the very least. And a team that was sort of expecting to rebuild this year now suddenly has 9 wins and possibly 10. And that's pretty good numbers. And they could make some noise in the playoffs given the right set of circumstances. But I don't think that they're any match for the Indianapolis Colts, I really think.
Well, actually, I think that I'm going to agree and I'm going to disagree. I'm going to agree. I'm going to pick the Colts to win this game. This is the last game of the season for the Chiefs at Arrowhead, and I think they're going to keep it close. That's all. I see Indy winning this one, but only by a field goal.
Okay.
On we go.
Win at the end of the day, though.
Buffalo at Miami, no playoff scenarios there. Both teams are out. Miami is not mathematically eliminated, okay?
That's right.
But they'll need a miracle.
You know what, though? Everyone's crowing about the New York Jets possibly making the playoffs, so I'm glad that's over. And what's really funny now is that with the worst record, they're still in mathematically. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how that can play out. They need a lot of help, but the Miami Dolphins played very well against Jacksonville this week. As a matter of fact, dismantled that team. And Buffalo has not played well. I think Miami will effectively shut down the run and shorten the field. And I don't think that Fitzpatrick is going to be able to get outside to Johnson. I don't think he's going to be able to use the long ball scenario because he's not going to be able to establish the run on the ground. I think Miami beats them bad at home. Miami's been doing well at home.
Well said. I completely agree with everything you said. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Now,
funny thing, they're not going to agree now.
If the Bengals win this one, they are in. If the Steelers win their last 2 games, that will be this week against Cincy, and next week they're at home to Cleveland, they are in. So this one's definitely a battle.
I kind of hope that Pittsburgh wins because I think that helps Miami's chances. Being a Dolphins fan, they need to beat Cincinnati, or Cincinnati needs to beat them. Cincinnati needs to beat them this week. Mm-hmm. Is that the way it works? Okay,
Not
well
sure.
then we'll forget that. Strike that from the record.
Dolphins need a whole lot of things happen.
Well, that's fine. I still love the fact that they got a shot, and no one is expecting that team to make the playoffs. But it's just nice that we're still talking about them in week 16. Mm-hmm. But getting back to not taking any thunder away from this, Cincinnati is a team that has played very well in the second half of the season. I remember me talking about them in the first half. They blew at least 2 that I can count of 2 touchdown leads in the first half of this season. I remember saying that they couldn't close the deal. They're for real now. They have made adjustments. Their scoring points, their defense last week put off a clinic. And I think that just this interdivisional rivalry it's always good. But I think that they're going to best Pittsburgh, who is pretty much has a heartbeat about as strong as the Miami Dolphins right now when you consider a playoff run. They've got to have everything lined up for them. They're not in control of their own destiny. And I think that they're just going to put the dagger right in their heart this week, and I think that they beat the Steelers.
I disagree completely on this one. I think that a lot of people are looking at the Steelers and they're saying, okay, the Steelers are done now, and that's it. Not only do I think the Steelers will win their final 2 games and get into the playoffs, I think they'll make some noise when they get there. This team has a great defense, and they're going to come back and be a surprise by making the playoffs and probably getting through the first round of the playoffs as well, I'll say. But
well, it ain't over until the fat lady sings.
I really think the Steelers are a lot better than the way they've been playing lately, and they're about to prove it this week. I'm seeing them beating Cincinnati by double digits.
And I don't know if the fat lady sings or the defensive end tackle plays the piano. I don't really know. But
Graham loves to hear that.
Yeah, well, sorry, man, but we're going to agree to disagree here. But moving on.
St. Louis and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay eliminated. Rams are not mathematically eliminated, but they're just not worth considering here because they need so much to happen. It's just not realistic. So both teams are out, and it's St. Louis are in Tampa.
It's Tampa Bay at home. I think Josh Freeman's going to have to come out and have a better outing than he had last week. Mm-hmm. I think the ball on the ground, if Martin shows up, I think they can win this game. And at home, I think everything's sort of tipped in their favor. This game means nothing in the big scheme of things, so I think just pushing it that way, I think that Tampa Bay beats them.
I agree. I think Tampa Bay wins this game by 17 points. How's that?
You sure? Or?
Yeah, 27-10. There you go.
Okay.
New Orleans is at Dallas.
Dallas, who the...
Yeah. Saints not mathematically out, but once again, another team, too many scenarios to even consider them to go to the playoffs. Dallas can take the division with a win here, and a win at Washington next week. So if they win out, they take the division. It's probably the only way they make the playoffs, though, as they're on the wrong side of almost every tiebreaker scenario. So they really need to win out.
We've got five teams in the NFC now that are 8-6. Mm-hmm. One of them being the Washington Redskins, who holds the division, holds court there, and you got four others, including the Bears,
Giants,
the Giants,
Vikings,
the Vikings, and what we just said, the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So you're right. The only way they're going to do that is they've got to win the division outright. The loser goes home.
Yes.
We're not going to get another wild card from that division.
No.
But I don't think we're going to agree on this one either. I think that New Orleans, I just think it's just they have too much offensively going on for that team to slow them down. I think Drew Brees is going to put off another clinic. I think he was going to throw the ball a million miles. And I think Graham has a big game. I just think they beat him on sheer offense. End of story.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Dallas beats New Orleans on sheer offense. Plus, Dallas' secondary can hold New Orleans to maybe 24, 27 points or something like that. I just think that New Orleans' pass defense is ridiculously bad, and I see big games coming out of maybe Austin, Jason Witten, and these guys. Maybe even DeMarco Murray on the ground. Defensively, I think Dallas is much stronger, and that's why I think Dallas will win this game.
Well, we've seen New Orleans come up with a couple of defensive gems this week, so we'll see what team shows up. Mm-hmm. Anyway, should be a good game.
Okay, Tennessee at Green Bay, and of course the Titans are out. Packers have already clinched the North, but are still fighting San Francisco for a first-round bye.
Yeah, and defensively they've doubled in the last 2 weeks with Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson. Players that have been missing a good part of the season, they've still been able to put wins together. And like I said, Green Bay has quietly been one of the strongest teams since week 4 of the NFL, where they did most of the losing in that first part of the season when we had all those other things going on, which we're not going to go back and revisit. I don't see this any other way. I think Green Bay wins this big.
Yes, Green Bay is certainly, once again, a team to watch, and they will win this one big, it's right. Yeah. New England at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, of course, is long gone. New England already won the East, but were knocked back to the 3rd seed in their loss to San Francisco last week. They need to win out and hope Denver loses one of their last 2 to get the first-round bye. So they'll be playing hard and hoping for Denver to slip up. Don't think it's going to happen.
I don't see it either unless they all slip into a coma because they're at home to the Browns and to the Kansas City Chiefs. Looks pretty good for Denver right now for that 2nd seed. But I wouldn't want to be the Jacksonville Jaguars this week after what happened in New England last week. I think this is where they work out all the kinks, and Brady throws probably 7 touchdown passes.
Yeah. I say
it's going to be a big game.
I'm going to call New England by 4 touchdowns. Oakland is at Carolina. Both teams are out.
It's Oakland and Carolina.
Both teams are out.
You got Cam Newton, who's shook off that sophomore kind of blues he had in the first half of the season. He's put numbers on the board consistently in the second half. Oakland has just been terrible.
They have.
Terrible. Not getting anything done on the ground, not getting anything done in the air. Carolina's defense has really showed up lately, especially against the pass. Just in the last few games alone, they've played very, very well. Not even close. I think Carolina blows Oakland out.
I agree. I don't even see this being close. Don't see it any other way. Carolina. San Diego is at the Jets. Both teams are out of the playoffs.
Can we say that again?
San Diego at the New York Jets. Both teams are out of the playoffs.
The playoffs? Rex Ryan.
Let me say that again. Phillip Rivers and Mark Sanchez. Both players are out of the playoffs.
Hey, isn't it Christmas this week? That's awesome.
Early
But,
Christmas.
yeah, can you tell we love all these teams? Here's the thing. Who cares who wins this game? But, apart from that, we do have to be professional. We have to come up and talk about it. I see that McElroy is starting this week for the New York Jets. Kick in the face to both Mark Sanchez, who didn't deserve that position in the first place, and Tim Tebow, who was brought over as a glorified punt returner / wildcat, fake field goal, blah, blah, blah.
I read a report today that Tebow wants out. Big surprise there.
Yeah. Where's he going? Somebody said he's going to the CFL. I said, good luck with that. 2 downs and it's a throwing league. What's he going to do? Return kicks. But, yeah, not going to happen. A team in disarray. And I think it's got to go further than that. You need to give this team an enema. Let's get rid of Santonio Holmes. Let's get rid of, we just picked up Braylon Edwards. There's another piece of moral fiber for that team. You know what? You got to get rid of the virus that is in your locker room. And that starts with the coach. I don't think that all he's done, Rex Ryan, since he's been there, has been sensationalizing the team, talking about how great they are, talking about how they're going to do this and go to that. Has he delivered? Not at all. The most exciting part of his career was his foot fetish video with his wife. I would watch no other NFL film, only that. I think, didn't you hear about that?
No.
Oh, well. Someone's going to be on YouTube later.
I don't want to.
Oh, but the reality is that team is just terrible. And it looks good on Mark Sanchez, who I've been saying for 4 years now is not a great quarterback. And, the team threw him under the bus last year. They said stuff like, well, he doesn't practice very hard. Well, look at his contract structure. Right? Why would he want to play hard? He didn't. He was going to get his money. He was going to play the games. And all of a sudden, along comes Tim Tebow, and Rex Ryan said, we're going to mix this up a little bit. And now we've got a third-string quarterback who's going to be the savior. They're going to give him a chance. No pun intended there, Tim. Sorry about that. We can't take that away from you. Was this guy going to genuflect too every time he puts a ball in the end zone? Is he going to throw the football? We're all kinds of questions. Team is bad, and based on that, I think they lose again this week to a San Diego team who is out of the playoffs. But I think with people like Antonio Gates, I just think they'll get the job done against this New York Jets defense, and I think they'll score enough points to win. I mean, look at some of the games they played recently. I mean, they scored 1 touchdown against the Arizona Cardinals. That's just one example. They haven't been putting points on the board, and we have a team in San Diego that can score points. But I'm pretty sure I'm not convincing him on this. I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me something very totally different.
I just think the Jets, they're going to give this new guy a try, get something to prove. Maybe he'll put a few points on the board. I don't see there's a lot of scoring in this game, but I do see the Jets coming up with a couple of key interceptions on Rivers and pulling this one out. I see the Jets by 5 or 6 points.
N-O-P-E. Nope, nope, nope.
We shall see.
All right.
Cleveland at Denver. Okay.
Your Denver Broncos, who have taken
we're
second
going to
seed.
Super Bowl anyway.
And you know what? Not a bad call this time of the day. I mean, or season, I should say. They're looking better and better every week. And
they win this week against Cleveland and next week against Kansas City, both home games, and they have a first-round bye.
13-3.
Mm-hmm. As long as they don't slip up.
Falcons. Okay. I agree with you 100%.
Falcons don't have Peyton Manning. Anyway, Giants at Baltimore. Here we go. The Ravens can clinch the AFC North title with a win here. Mm-hmm. If the Giants win out, they will take the wild card due to owning tiebreaker scenarios against both the Bears and the Vikings. If they lose this game, there's a good chance they're going to be out, though. So both teams are going to be playing hard. Giants got Philly at home to Philly next week. If they win this week, they get a good shot to playoffs. This game is going to be very hard hitting.
Guess who picked up Wilson in his fantasy pool for this week?
Oh, did you really?
Couldn't resist.
Even though you're going with the Ravens.
Yes. Well, I didn't say he's not going to score points. I had Ryan Matthews. He's going to score more points than Ryan Matthews.
I would think.
Yeah, seems he's got a broken clavicle. But getting back to this for a second. Where's Ray Lewis in all this? No, is he a game time decision?
I have no idea.
You don't care either, do you?
No, they really haven't said anything. I'd expect to see Ray Lewis back on the field this week, but there's been no word as of yet.
Think of the Lewis factor as the X factor here, and I think if Lewis plays, it's going to give this team a huge boost. They've had trouble offensively the last couple of weeks, but they've also had trouble defensively, and I think both of these sort of line up. I think that the more time that defense is spending on the field, the more mistakes that Flacco and company are making. Trying to force that ball out wide. Ray Rice has not had good weeks the last couple of weeks. I think that Flacco's made poor decisions, And this is a team that seems to be hanging around now because they do have a very legitimate shot at getting into the playoffs no matter what happens right now. Because of Pittsburgh's loss with Cincinnati.
Actually, they're in.
Yeah, it is. They're in automatically. That's right. They can't get a bye. They can't move anywhere else. So this team is sort of floating, but they really need to get back on the winning side here. And I think if Ray Lewis is even in that dressing room, he's going to be reminding them that we need to be getting warm to get into those playoffs. And I think the motivation alone, and if he shows up on that field, I'm telling you, the X factor is going to be Baltimore is going to beat the Giants. They're going to beat them at home. And that's my call. I think they win this close, and it's going to be defensively oriented. It's going to be the battle of the turnovers, as it always is with the Baltimore Ravens, or it is with the Chicago Bears. Several teams out there. Whoever makes the least number of mistakes is going to win this game, and I think it's going to be Baltimore.
I agree. Whoever makes the least number of mistakes is going to win this game. I'm going with the Giants. I'm afraid of this one. I don't know which way to go, but I think that New York they've got to win out to make it into the playoffs. And the Giants are always at their best when they're down, when they're the underdog. And I just think that the Giants, Baltimore has not looked good in the past few weeks. And I think the Giants are going to go in and beat them.
It'll make a change. You're going to smell nothing but Old Spice and victory, baby. It's going to happen. All right. Chicago and Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's out of the playoffs. The Bears need to win their final two. They have Detroit next week, Arizona, of course, this week. They only hold the tiebreaker versus Dallas. Minnesota, San Francisco, and Seattle all hold tiebreaker scenarios versus Chicago. Don't look good for the Bears right now, but they can stay alive with the win here. They definitely need to win out, though, to have any chance.
Yeah, this is... they can't look past this game at the one next week either. They can't. They have to take this team seriously. Arizona surprised several teams, including the Patriots this year. We need to make sure that they're, they need to be sure that they're focused. I think that they can generate enough offense against that Arizona team, strictly because Arizona has been terrible with respect to offense for the most part of the season. They've come up with some gems, but I don't think. And last week they did score a lot of points, right? And shout out to you, Graham Anthony, for saying that, because you did sort of pick that scenario. But I think that Chicago will be able to handle them this week, and then worry about next week when next week comes.
I will pick the Bears as well, but I'm very scared of this game. Arizona is trying to prove that they're not as bad a team as we think. They're playing at home. They got a pretty good defense, and Chicago is still banged up. Very tough game. Chicago cannot take this game lightly, as Jeff said, but I will pick the Bears to win.
Da scare. All right.
San Francisco at Seattle, the Monday nighter. This one is going to be a dandy. Seattle clinches a playoff berth with a win or a New York Giants loss. San Francisco has clinched a playoff berth already, and they can clinch the West with a win and a first-round bye if they win out. So we got Seattle has not lost at home yet this year. You got San Francisco just upset New England, and you got Seattle after putting up 108 total points in 2 games in the last 2 weeks. What do you think?
That division race is not over yet. I really think Seattle is going to beat San Francisco based on the fact they're as hot as hell right now and they're at home. And we all know how the whole scenario works for Seattle. I just think it'll be a close game. I think it might even be a shooting match because they'll both score points. But at the end of the day, it's close. I like the spread. If it's anything more than 4 points, I think they cover it. Okay.
I think that this game is going to be extremely close. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick Seattle to win this game by a single point. How's that?
37-36.
No, not that much. It'll be a late field goal that'll win the game for Seattle in this one.
They're down 2. I'm just thinking about the mathematical possibilities. Awesome. So hey, we put ourselves out there this week. Stick around. We're gonna come back with our final thoughts. We're gonna pick a team of the week and a player of the week. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're back at our team of the week and player of the week. What do you think, Jeff?
This week, my team of the week is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Based solely on the fact that they're playing the Monday Nighter, they've got everything hanging in the balance. They're going to take on a team that just beat the New England Patriots at home. And I think that they're going to beat San Francisco. It's going to be a complete effort. It's going to be defense, offense, using every portion of the field to beat this team. And I think they're going to come up with a huge effort this week. Who do you like?
I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to silence every one of their critics and come out with a huge game against Cincinnati, staying alive in the playoff race.
Staying alive. Nice. How about a player of the week?
Player of the week, I like DeMarco Murray, Dallas Cowboys. New Orleans defense is a bag of holes. And I think that Murray has a huge game against the Saints. And Dallas moves on to stay alive in the race as well.
Okay. Well, this week, like we said already in the broadcast, would not want to be the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. We're playing the New England Patriots. And just on sheer numbers, my player of the week is going to be Aaron Hernandez. Looking at 3 touchdowns this week from you-know-who, Tom Brady.
That's 2 weeks in a row you picked the New England Patriots.
I don't know what this sham is all about.
Spike
John.
this ball in your head.
Listen, I don't listen. You know what? You're coming across like somebody who's a Brady phobe or something, and you know what? It doesn't wash with it anymore. The jig is up, and you know why I know that?
Why is that?
Because something came to the house for you today,
Oh, no.
and I knew that you were lying to me all along. There was a Christmas present. It is Christmas, and this. Okay, when you want to get a shot of this, Justin, there was a cover letter that actually says to Johnny Moist, care of the Man Room. So it got here, and this is what the letter says. I was really, really disgusted. It says, "Dear John, thank you for your fan letters this year. Your support goes a long way during the season. Be proud of being a member of the Young Patriot Nation. Here is a picture of me for your wall. Sorry, I couldn't send you the dirty jersey or jockstrap you asked for. That was just a little creepy. Stay in school and remember, play the Patriot way. Tom Brady, number 12. And it says at the bottom here in small print, P.S. Do not call my house again, ever. Fuck me. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it's right here. They said it right out. Even like, John, this is a Brady venture.
I'm going to kill him.
That's how we saw it this week, folks. Come back next week after Christmas.
He won't be back.
It's not time for the New Year's resolutions. Thanks for, again, coming out to see us this week. Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year from the I-Formation team. And until next time, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Have fun. Merry Christmas.